Hey guys, welcome back to the Sea Planner podcast. My name is David. I'm here with a very special guest. A lot of you guys know him, some of you don't, so I'll give you guys a real quick background on him. He grew up here in the Coachella Valley. He's Coachella Valley native. He's been out in he's played at every field, every soccer field out here in the desert. He's coached probably at every field here in the desert. He's a great influence, great um, role model to a lot of these kids. Role model to me, Brian Benjume.
Hey,
Thanks for
David.
Pollo or Brian. A lot of you guys know him as Pollo, but I call him by his first name, just because now I'm in a position. You're older gentleman, and I look up to you in so many different ways, just in the resilience that you have and just the dedication you have in your craft and soccer. You've put in a lot of work. After everybody, I mean, you did grow up with two older brothers that have played soccer as well.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about why you're here? Why you know like
So you invited me, and
of course,
um, but we've been trying to do this for a while,
right?
and you know that I've played soccer. We've played soccer together. My older brothers. You grew up with them, so that's how I met you, and yeah, you just know how much passion I have for the sport, and really is why we're here.
Exactly.
How the sport really has changed our lives. So yeah.
It for you soccer has been a way to stay, has given you stability, has given you a lot of the things you have now is through soccer, like even just your job, right? Like what do you do now?
Right now I'm coaching. That's really what I'm doing.
You're not playing, you're coaching.
I'm playing.
You
uh,
went from a coach or from a player to a coach now.
yeah.
You what team are you coaching?
Ballers Football Club.
Is that here locally in the desert?
Yes.
Based out of Coachella?
We train in La Quinta, and sometimes we train in Coachella.
Okay. Is this like a all age group or is this
Yeah, it's an adult team.
it's an adult team?
Yes, it's under the UPSL league,
What does
um,
that mean?
United Premier Soccer League.
So what does that entail? Do you have to have like certain money behind it or
It's just like a amateur league.
okay.
And it's for adults. Just that this league has a lot of teams and it stays very organized,
Very competitive?
very competitive.
Do you guys play every Sunday, every week?
So this is our first season, and
Okay. So you're new to this whole thing.
it's my second season.
Second season.
Second season coaching.
Okay.
And kind of playing too, and I'll talk about that.
Sweet.
It's so we get to choose our home games, and we
Mhm.
get to decide if we want to play, what day of the week and what time
Okay.
after a certain hour and stuff. But our away games depends against who our opponent is and where they decide to play as well.
How does this come about? Like who called you or who'd you run into? What kind of conversation? How did this come about?
With ballers.
With ballers.
With ballers. So I had been playing for this local team in Palm Desert, Barcelona, and the coach, it's a friend of mine now, and his name is Mike. And after playing for his team for years, we've got to know each other really well.
Okay.
And I've helped him recruit players to his team and stuff, and that's kind of where it's all started. And we just stuck to each other, and
Is this throughout the pandemic or is this before the pandemic?
before.
Before.
Yeah.
So you were because you're also like coaching kids too, right?
Yes.
How does is that same thing with Mike?
That just started. So that's more on me. I'm the one coaching the kids and stuff, and this came out through people reaching out to me. Just like, hey, do you have time to train my kid? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do the best I can.
Uh-huh.
And slowly, just more and more and more. And
You also have like buddies that go out and help you, no? Or is that just volunteer that people that Do you have other guys, older guys that help you train, or no?
No.
This is all just you?
It's mostly just
Oh,
me.
sweet.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
Why do you do it? Like, why soccer? Like, why haven't you stopped?
Well, it's really because me growing up and playing soccer, all the opportunities I had, the fun I had, how much I enjoyed it, and how my family and this whole valley to me was because of soccer. Everyone in
So sorry. So you're a young kid. You have dreams of becoming a professional soccer player. Give us an example, or give me an example of what was the first experience of like something that was a glimpse of maybe becoming a professional or going that direction. Because that was like the first glimmer of what's the spark that has kept you going so far, right?
Yeah. So I was training with my older brothers, and they're about 4 or 5 years older than me, and they would go and travel to Fontana to go and train about 4 days a week. And this coach was part of a program from Mexico, and he would train them, and we had never seen training like this before. And I was there at 10 years old, so to me it was something different and
very eye-opening.
Yeah, definitely. And knowing about that club itself, like Pachuca, it was a big club at that time and still is now. Very strong teams and one of the best soccer there was.
Out here still in the desert? I mean, out here in Fontana? Is that team still like strong?
No.
But you mean just the Pachuca team itself?
Pachuca club from Mexico itself. Okay. Their whole like philosophy, their whole program, the way they trained and stuff.
Ever since then, is that what you've taken? Only reason why I'm asking is because you also had people that were maybe even older than us, like the Alvarez, the Paris Chicas, the Angulos. Those guys also cemented a championship mentality out here, at least in Cat City for us. Did you take that with you too? Like these guys that were a little older, did they influence you?
Like like I said, I was 10 training with my brothers, and I was a part of that program for like good four years, till I was in eighth grade. And that's after eighth grade, I started playing more locally, like with older players like the Alvarez and Paris Chica and other players.
Even your brothers, though, your brothers were they're ballers. They stood their own. They kind of filled in their own shoes.
Yeah, definitely. I looked up to my brothers a lot. They honestly, they were really good, and it motivated me because they had fun and they were really good, and they always we were just making friends out of it really and just having a good time. And when I was 14 and stuff, and a little bit older, getting into high school and started playing here locally.
Okay.
There was that championship mentality,
right?
And I saw it, and
that pressure, right?
The mentality, the pressure, whatever it is, I felt it. I saw it. I saw the same joy that I had. You
took the stuff you learned when you were 10 from Pachuca, that structure, that philosophy, and then you're going into high school. Nothing deterred you. You were like, no, I love this. You just kept going, right?
Yeah. By the time I was 13, 14, I had a different plan. I had a different mentality already. I already thought I deserved to play first division.
Well, that's good though, right? Because you're that young and you see kids going into those programs that young, and you're like, oh dang, if I don't get in it now, I'm gonna be a washed up 17, 18-year-old, and I'm not gonna be able to get in that program. That's a lot of pressure, right? Especially if you're looking at a team where you're like, if I don't go to Pachuca, then no one's gonna see me, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to a kid that's in that position, 10, 14, 18 years old, and they're like, oh my god, like this is like I'm missing my opportunity. If they go try out, you try it out for teams. If you go try out for a team and they don't get you, or if you're on a team and you're sitting on the bench, or you're in high school and you just missed your season because of the pandemic, like what would you tell a child?
Don't give up, man.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
That's perfect, because you haven't yourself, right?
I have not.
And you're still pursuing a career in soccer?
Yes, I because soccer is so natural to me. I managed to stay in shape. I managed to understand the game. So no matter what pitch I step on, I feel like I can make a difference.
Sweet.
And I'm 27, so I as I get older, I want to get better, and that's my mentality. That and no matter where I go, and like I said, I've been trying out at certain teams, even during this pandemic stuff, recently or earlier this year, and I felt great, and the coaches talked to us, these professional coaches, and they're like, hey, don't give up. We just signed someone 31 years old last season, and that's their own story, and
Exactly.
and I have my own, and some coaches don't know me, but
The thing that I look up to you about is that I know the mentality that is here in the desert, and we have a lot of people, but because they're frustrated with themselves, they will just throw shade or throw dirt
Mhm.
on someone like you
Mhm.
that steps onto the field. And there's this one little clip that I saw the other day about what was it, Carmelo Anthony,
Uh-huh.
and talks about how he, instead of passing the ball to a dude that's open,
Yeah.
takes the shot.
Mhm.
And he explains to his player that like he practices for that.
Yeah.
And you're on the field 24/7
Yeah.
all day long, playing and playing and playing. So when you do give that pass, you're expecting the dude to come through because that's what you would do.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say is that some people might look at that and say like, oh, this guy's arrogant, or this guy, who does he think he is? He's old, like he's washed out. I don't see that. I see a person with a passion, with a dream, and that's why I'm always advocating. Every time we talk, me and you, we always share stories. We don't see each other that often,
Yeah.
but I'm always cheering for you, and I'm glad that you came out here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Right now you have the Ballers. What is it? What's
Ballers Football Club.
Ballers Football Club.
Yeah.
But you also have training children. You also play. How do you find time for all this?
I don't know. I already know how things work, and I kind of just manage my time as best as I could. And
But see, people like like an indoor example. You'll step in and you'll play all day long, right? But people don't see all the hard work that goes into what you do.
Yeah.
So they'll it's easy just to hate than to congratulate and say, "Hey, Pollo, like just cheer for you." Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? What do you say? How do you deal with that? Because I know for a fact that you get hate. And I'm not trying to focus on that, but I'm saying as a young buck trying to do something like this where you're exposed to so much criticism.
Yeah.
I've never heard you speak negative on anybody or let that stuff affect you.
Yeah.
How come you're so mature in that aspect? Like what got you to that?
So, like I said, when I was 14, I already had a mentality that I wanted to become a pro. I tell myself I deserve to play first division, something. I really thought I could be one of those players that could play young. And as I was getting older into high school, I was still on top teams, and I had to travel 3 times a week out of town. And when I got my spot, I never got subbed out. I really was just trying to be that player that the coach could depend on, because my dad was a coach, so I knew the type of player my dad was looking for to make a good team.
Okay.
And when I come out here or played locally, people didn't know that I had just finished training out of town, and it was 10 o'clock at night, and I still came to have some fun and put in some extra time. And
and you never had to validate yourself. I've always seen where you don't go out there and like explain anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Like you just are, and you just walk your way.
Right. And so and my mentality sometimes is, whether it be at practice or a game, you go hard. You go, you put in the work. You obviously, I'm a player that I don't like to get hurt, so I don't like to hurt other people. And sometimes in a match things get heated, emotions come along, and it could be a little, it could get dangerous sometimes. And I don't want that.
Right.
I never wanted that for anyone. And I felt like we had to change that. So when I got hit, yeah, sometimes I'd get upset, but like I knew better, you know, and I was like, no, like I always kept telling myself, just understand that it's gonna take time. Like people don't understand the time that I've put in,
Right.
Or what I've seen and stuff, or that we can make a difference.
You've taken the seat of a leader now, on that Ballers football club. Would you say Ballers FC
Yeah,
as well?
Ballers FC.
You've had to sit out of games to coach.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
Like I've
Because you are that player that goes all out, goes hard,
yeah.
and some of your players don't have the same tenacity or like fierceness, competitive
Yeah.
nature that you have.
Yeah.
It's showed you to approach the game differently, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, playing my whole life. I've been playing my whole life.
Yeah, every week.
Every week. And I kid you not, I don't think there's been a time in my life that I've not played for longer than a week or two.
Right.
That, like, I might have had like a twisted ankle once or twice, but every single day I've been playing. And I think now that I'm coaching, this is the time that I've had to sit it out the longest. And it's been
How long is that?
probably 3-4 weeks.
Oh, so about a month. That's is it killing you?
It's tough.
Right.
It's tough. But I understand what I'm doing. That if I sit out sometimes, like I can help them off the pitch, right?
Or also have them go through those growing pains, right?
Exactly, through their own experience, and I could go out there and play and make a difference, and it doesn't mean we're gonna win or not,
Right, right.
And they've seen me play. My players know how hard I go, how well I move the ball and stuff, but I want them to experience that,
That's nice,
I
man.
want them to go up against a good team and know that, hey, our coach is on the side, it's our turn, and they've been improving so much.
Let's talk about your team a little bit. Do you have some stars on your team? Do you have these guys? Do you see anybody that kind of resembles how you used to be, or no?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, all
Yeah?
of them. Everyone has a little bit of something, that I've experienced.
Right.
Whether
That's great.
it'd be like, you lose your temper, or you're complaining
Oh, I
at the
see you
ref.
lose. How do you find these players? How did somebody jump on get recruited to your team?
How does someone get recruited to my team? Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, just I was part of a team, and some players that I knew, some young players
Okay.
graduating, they were, what were they gonna do? What were they gonna play? And I was like we need to do something because there's potential, and I'm sure the word could spread, and yep, as little by little, more and more and more people just started showing up. So
Because I remember you doing something like this before, and it was such a struggle. Now it's all very natural, and it's organic, and the players that are going to you want to play for
Yeah.
you. They want to be, because there's also even players that are like my age
Yeah.
playing with you.
yeah.
Shout out to Ricky. Yeah, bro. You guys
Yeah.
you have all the range of ages
Yeah.
and experiences,
Yeah.
because somebody like that can teach the young guys not to be so jumpy or like
Mhm.
get worked up about stuff that really isn't, that you guys
Necessary.
have a lot of years and time clocked in on the field.
Exactly. And so that's, I think, where a lot of my patience comes, that I know that there's a future in this, and there's a plan, and some of my players are still stuck in the game, in the match, or at on certain plays, and it's part of the learning experience where they're just going to have to deal with it.
They get obsessed over something that they have to overcome and then move on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. You have. Are you in your season is just started, finishing, middle way, halfway?
We're about 7 matches in.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing so far?
We've won 3 and lost 4.
Lost 4.
Yeah.
So this is a new first season. How many
Yes.
games do you guys get to play?
10. So
10.
we got 3 more matches.
3 more matches.
Yes.
And then what happens after that? Do you have to have a certain ranking to qualify to move on?
Yeah, like the top one or the number 1 moves up division.
Okay.
To the Premier division, and then I think like top 2 go into the playoffs and stuff, like in a regional tournament.
So you guys are structurally a baby, brand new, born. Is there any other team like this locally?
As of right now, no.
Just yours?
Yes.
Sweet, man. You're a freaking pioneer. That's really cool, though, because we both played club soccer or Sunday league or indoor and stuff. And the competition, because it's so capped, people go out and hurt each other or go out and just, like, not really give a crap about the game. They just go out to basically spend their Sunday or their day at, having fun with their friends and stuff. But you're more in that competitive field, which is nice because a lot of kids have that eagerness to express themselves that way, which is cool, bro, because otherwise they'd be out doing something bad or putting themselves in a position where they're not growing.
So a little bit about my team. Like I have, like you said, I have players that are older, and I have some players that are like 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there's a certain player and he's 14 and he was struggling a little bit, and
mentally or physically?
And probably both.
Both.
Yeah. He's a small kid, and I had been helping his older brother. Because of where I was playing the last club I was playing with, whether that be pre-pandemic.
Okay.
And it's that team that I was playing for, they have a really good program. And good connections, and I took his older brother there, and that's where we had been playing last. And the older brother has improved so much, and he's been scouted by top clubs now.
Sweet.
And so the little brother, is kind of just trying to follow the path there. And I kid you not, dude, in 2-3 weeks, this kid changed his whole game, and it was like his mentality. It was just like his eager or like having fun,
right.
Like just changing it where it's like, right now because of the pandemic, a lot of players were playing club, they were playing high school, and if they were playing somewhere else, so they were playing soccer every single day, and so that it's hard. Like if someone who doesn't know hasn't dealt with that before, it kind of becomes too much soccer, But he changed his mentality. He saw the what we were doing in training. He realized he was playing against adults, and his game changed so much. And the kid now is like, he's got so much potential.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That goes to show what kind of influence or what kind of change you have in people. Yeah. That's props to you, bro. You decided to do this just because you wanted to keep playing, or
you want to know the real reason?
Yeah, for sure.
So, again, I have gone through the Pachuca program, and during high school, I only played JV my freshman year. My brothers, played varsity their whole 4 years, and I didn't get to play varsity, so I was kind of just like, I was already like, then why waste my time here? Like, not because I didn't play varsity, but because I wanted to do something more with my career. And I ended up playing with Arsenal Academy, and I had already played with adults, and I knew what I was capable of doing, and I always remember in practice, it's like, hey, you're doing this for something else, like, I know you want to play pro and stuff, but like, you're doing this because one day you want to have your own team in the desert. So when I was like 14, 15. I was already telling myself, I'm going to have my own team. I'm either going to go pro, or I'm going to do the best so I could go pro. And then one day I'm going to have my own team out here. And that's what I want. And it's kind of where I'm going.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
Because you could have had any easy out,
Yeah.
right? Anybody could have said, well, you could have said, oh, getting older, life, uh,
Yeah.
any excuse,
Yeah.
and people would probably been like, cool.
Mm.
But you would have been upset with yourself, you know.
Yeah.
What does your family say about what you do? Like, because your brothers do your brothers keep playing, or
No.
you're the only one pushing?
I'm the only one playing. Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, do they say, yeah, Pollo, para esa? No,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing you don't listen, even that could easily be something where it's like, they're right, you know?
Yeah, they're like, for what? Like, what's it? And I have my own vision, and my dad has coached adults and kids, and my dad, like, he knows. He's like, you see, it's not easy, right? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not easy.
Yeah, you following. Did your dad have a big influence in that for you becoming a coach, or you wanting to?
Absolutely, absolutely. My dad was back in Palm Springs. Back my dad's, I would say in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Palm Springs was a really good league.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of competition, a lot of Hispanic players coming out, and had probably played second division or first division.
Very competitive.
Very competitive. And I'm sure my dad played. We've talked about it a little bit, about my dad competing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad was the coach of his team, Cruz Azul. But he was the youngest player on his team. And he was probably like 25 years old or something. And you would imagine that you would want someone young.
Yeah.
But he was the coach, coaching adults. He was on the sideline.
Right.
And I've known that. I've seen pictures, and I'm just like, that's pretty cool. And so he, with us, he's always been there coaching us, making teams, supporting us, whether he could be at our match or not. My dad was always there. So that influenced me. That definitely, I was just like, yeah, what's wrong with being a coach? Like, what's wrong with wanting to make a team and help players out? And, whether it be they go try to make a career out of it or just have fun, and I saw all the benefits, but I also got to see all the hard parts of it. And I know it wasn't easy, but I was taking notes. I was like, okay, so I know the expectations. I know the standards, and I knew what my dad stood for. Where it's like, okay, that too far. We're not gonna go that way. So that to me, huge impact.
I want to talk about a little bit more about that whole first generation Hispanic community where we knock on each other. We're always hating on each other. Whether it's like, let's see. All right, let me change that up. Let me ask you a fun question. Like,
Yeah.
how do you you've seen probably hundreds and hundreds of referees,
Yeah.
and you've had your back and forths with some of those. How do you deal with referees now that you're older and understanding that referees do have an impact in the game?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's say the game's not going your way and the referees it seems like the referees bought out, and people are always yelling that shit out.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself from attacking a ref or getting into an altercation with the referee?
Yeah, I mean, I get frustrated. I do get frustrated, and I always know, like, hey, it's okay to talk to the ref, because some refs will speak to you and will be like, hey, no, like, I called this for this reason. And it's like a relationship, they want to build a relationship, but some refs don't want to build a relationship. They don't want to listen to it.
They don't care if they're hated on.
Yeah, and it becomes tough, and it's like, all right, like, there's nothing you can do, and
because you see them every freaking week, right?
Yes, and so with ballers and stuff, like, we record the matches now, and it's just like in the back of my head, it's like, all right, oh well, it's probably on the match if they made a wrong call, and they're, I'm gonna be okay knowing that I might have been right, that the decision was wrong, or I might be wrong, and I learned from it. So that's how right now. That's kind of like where I'm going with it. Like, how we can change the game like that by recording the matches. Simply just having the full match and having the refs know, like, hey, like we all have to put in our part. As a team that we follow the rules. Like, you guys got to follow along as well.
I had a conversation. I think the last game I got to see you play, you went over on during the halftime, and you spoke with the ref, and you were talking to him. You're having a conversation with him. Just because you do get to see them every week, building that relationship with the ref, does that do you get people saying like, "Oh, you're over there, sweet talking the ref," or how do you? I just know. I just know the soccer culture. I don't know any other culture but the soccer culture here in the desert, and it's always like people are always saying whether you're getting bought out as a ref or I don't know, favoritism.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that? Because you do know them probably by a first name basis, right? You probably even know where they live,
No, I don't.
You're really scouting, sending them nice little goodie bags. Hey, I know you're gonna be my ref next week. So.
No, I try. Like I said, I just try to tell them. I tell them like, hey, this is my point of view, and they tell me theirs. Sometimes they want to talk to me, sometimes they don't. And,
right.
And that's it. Like, that's as much as I can do, But at least I tried, And
do you have a lot of high heads on your team? Like, because for instance, I remember always getting into shouting matches with the refs and stuff. Is your captain like structurally? How on your team you have your captain that has to just go talk to the ref. Who's your captain on your team right now?
Ricky. Hernandez.
So he takes his role, and like he's the general on the field and talking to the. I just have in my mind, I have such a bad connotation towards referees and how they sway games.
Yeah.
An offsides or a penalty that wasn't a penalty, or giving a player a red card when it was just like 2 minutes into the game, that kind of stuff. Has the new rules gone into effect with like your league and stuff?
Yeah. So FIFA rules are applied.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Whatever FIFA's rules are, those are the ones we.
What are some of the rules that have gone into?
The ones that I mostly wear is like the goal kick one,
Uh-huh.
where it's like you don't have to be out of the box
To pass.
To pass.
Okay. There's nothing changed from like all these other standard rules where it's offside stuff. None of that.
Not really.
Okay.
No, not unless we get into like some VAR stuff or something.
Okay.
But nah, it hasn't changed.
Do you every match have 3 referees? Like it's legit league, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting in the weeds with all these questions, but
it's all good.
I don't know. I'm just excited to have you here. Or you were at one point working with a company. What is it called? Gorilla.
Yeah.
Are you still partnered with them?
Yeah, we have a relationship still where we have a relationship still, and I still try to sell products from them, for them, and a little bit about them. His name's Ryan Guy.
Because they put you on a different mentality, right? Even more of like an entrepreneur kind of a mentality, right?
Yeah. So like after high school, I ended up playing I still kept playing with Arsenal Academy, and I was going to San Marcos my first year.
Okay.
And then I transferred out to San Diego Mesa, and I was playing there. But then I stopped playing for the school, and I started playing for a semi-pro team in the NPSL. It's a different league, but it was a very professional league.
Okay.
All our matches were in in a high school stadium. You'd have fans. You'd have like the whole professional layout. Yeah. And the cool part about that place was that our coach was Warren Barton, who played for Newcastle. So now I'm listening to someone who's played in the English Premier League speak to us, and I'm the type of player that like just likes to listen and learn, and understand their style of play, and that's where I met Ryan Guy, and there were so many good players on that team, so many professionals, so many educated players, and that's where I started. I was like, I was like, I still wanted to learn. I still wanted to know more, like what I could do to get better and stuff.
You're absorbing a lot from these.
Yeah,
things.
man. And one of those things was my recovery. Like how do you recover after a match? How do you prevent an injury and stuff? How do you enhance your range of motion and all that stuff? And that's when Ryan came in to our team. He had just finished playing for New England Revolution. He was the captain of his Guam national team. Like great player, man, great player, and very professional. And he came out with this product. It was not your regular foam roller. It was now a roller that was hard.
What is it like? Made out of like
paracord?
Okay.
And
some PVC.
Yeah. And so they made their design, and I was one of the first ones to buy one. I was like, he's like, who wants one? I was like, me, and I had that roller for like 5 years. I still have it, but I was like, that changed my game because I was able to recover faster and play longer, and I was like, well, everyone needs to do this,
Why are we talking about
it?
Before and after, or whenever you have right before, because you're supposed to kind of take care of the problem before it becomes a problem.
Exactly.
So you met this guy and still have a relationship. What other influences, like other than that coach that you had? Give me like another person. Let's see. I've heard the statistic, and I kind of have a lot of like little fun facts and stuff in my head. I keep this in my head all the time, and I believe somebody that's very rich and successful said this. In your life, you have about 5 or 6 people that are like mentors.
Yeah.
And I would say I've met a lot of mentors in my life. I think you don't have to limit yourself to that many, but these people come in your life and they teach you a lot of valuable lessons. Whether it's your father or that coach or another coach, or do you have anybody else that has been like a very integral part of your career that you'd want to speak on?
Probably number one of that list is my older brother, Eli. He knows the amount of work I put in. He's been there when I had no support to play, and he would be the one to encourage me, like, dude, you got what it takes to play.
Sweet.
Like, you're on the right track. Whatever you're doing, or dude, you need to work on this. And he was very honest with me, very direct, and I needed someone like that. I met a lot of great people that wanted the same thing for me, but he's the one that's been there consistently, like whether he wanted to be there or not, he was there for me. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Your brother also thought he was Cristiano Ronaldo for a very long time, right?
He probably still thinks so.
I love Eli because same thing. I think you guys have that same. You guys don't care what anybody says about you guys. You guys stay true to yourselves, and that's really cool. Yeah, man. Everybody needs somebody in their corner like that.
Yeah.
And it's really nice that.
And I had you, man. A lot of times we spoke. I was down. And I would be like, dude, I got a lot of things going on.
Right.
And you're like, dude, that's okay. And you're like, keep going, don't stop. And we talk about my situations or my conversations with other people or what I was struggling with. You're like, no, dude, you're fine. Like, keep pushing.
Well, that's good. I try to be there for. There's a select few people that have my ear and not because I choose to do that, but because I see that they're busting their butt, and I'm like, okay, well, if they're reaching out to me and they're asking for my opinion, then I'm gonna give it, and I'm gonna be as sincere as possible, because sometimes truth hurts,
Yeah.
and some people can't handle
Yeah.
that. Some people will think that I'm an asshole, or that I'm too brash or too rough. You know, you're coming to me.
Yeah.
So okay, so if you're coming to me, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
some of those times I've gone to you, it hasn't been easy
Right.
because you've been so honest. You're like, this is the way it is,
Mhm.
you know, and I'm like, okay, you know.
It is, because look, I never had an older brother.
Yeah.
I've had people that I put myself, my vulnerability in their hands, and I've had people not come through for me,
Yeah.
or tell me stuff, and they're guiding me for failure, you know,
Yeah.
or hating on the fact that I'm doing something.
Yeah.
For instance, the podcast. I've had people tell me like, "Are you still doing that little?" Yeah, bro. Like, you're not invested in my thing. Like, I'm not gonna take what you're saying to heart.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you're not worried about my well
Yeah.
being. And when every time I had conversations with you, it was like, dang, boy, you're doing a million things. Like,
Yeah.
keep going,
Yeah.
keep going, keep going, keep going. You're
Yeah.
doing great. And when you would start to kind of like get influenced towards something that wasn't for you, I would be like, hey, red flag. Like, make sure that you ask these questions. Make sure you're really informed before you make these
Yeah.
decisions.
Yeah.
And dude, look at you. Like, I'm not taking I'm not taking credit for it, but you do listen, and
Yeah.
so that's why I continue to not mentor, but like, continue to be in your corner and cheer you on, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I have you here, because the fact that you are still resilient and prospering,
Yeah.
dude, like, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man. And we were talking. We touched a little bit about, you know, refs and players kind of like
Mm-hmm.
hating and stuff. I never took it to heart. You know, there might have been times where, you know, we've said stuff to each other we probably didn't mean and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd always go home thinking like, nah, it's not about us. You know, it's about what we could do with the sport for other people.
What do you mean about, like, what do you mean when you say,
because sometimes in a match where, you know, it's really like we're, you know, we might feel, someone might think that you're just trying to show off to try to make like you're the better player and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see how that could be like, you know, you could think of that, you know, like if I'm playing hard and stuff, like you might think, oh, this dude just thinks he's good. It's like, sorry, I'm just playing, I'm just going hard, I'm doing what I can, the best I can, but I'm just worried about myself, you know. So when someone says something to me on the match, or goes in dirty or something, you know, I understand, you know, and it's part of the game, but I don't take it to heart. Like, I've never gone, like, I don't go home and think like, you know, forget everyone. Like, I'm just, why do I need to do this for anybody? It's like, no, it's like, we need to be mature. Like, it's not about us.
Right.
You know, it's about what we can do. What difference can we make?
And then you also have people, spectators. You have people that are maybe will never reach that level of game that you're playing, but you're influencing. I've always been an advocate about being a role model. Whether you think that you're not being a role model, you are. Like, you are being a good or a bad role model.
Yeah.
Every time somebody's around you,
Yep.
you're a role model. You say bad words in front of little kids. You act up with your anything, bro.
Yeah.
Anything you do is a reflection, and it's a certain type of energy that you're putting out.
Yeah.
And when you are playing on a team, you're being an influence to the people around you. So that's cool that you have that, where you go from when the match is over, it's whatever. You just move on. I've never seen you be upset and take it. So yeah, I think I believe you. I believe you when you say that. Shoot, I wanna touch on maybe what else you got going. Like, what do you do for work?
Right now I'm just coaching. just
Cool.
coaching
So
kids.
that's your passion
Yeah.
became your career.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah, so I'm just coaching kids, and I got a few teams, and um, w- the way I'm training now is mostly by playing futsal.
Mhm.
So we like play on a basketball court,
Okay.
soccer. So you like run drills for like a few minutes, and they start playing. It's a different game. You
Mhm.
know, you're playing like on concrete, so you have to be more careful. You have to be smarter with the way you run, the way you defend, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I have like 8, 7 year olds, 13-year-olds, 10-year-olds out there that
Is
are
this in Palm Desert?
yeah,
Yeah.
in Palm Desert.
Why do you think that the Palm Desert community, just because it's there, or is it because more accessible? You can get more players there.
Palm Desert for the
Mhm.
accessibility.
Okay.
Just because I get players from like Indio, Desert Hot Springs, Palm Springs, and
It's the center.
it's a little more central to everyone,
Okay.
and that's kind of that's why I try to do it there.
What days do you practice? I don't know. Just if anybody wants to.
Yeah, well, with the adults, we practice Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
And in La Quinta, we've been training Tuesdays, but that might change where we're training in Coachella Tuesdays and Thursdays. But with the kids, we're training right now every Wednesday.
Okay.
Every Wednesday. So, yeah, if anyone's interested, they could just contact me, and we can try to set them up.
Sweet, man. And it wouldn't be fair if I spoke about soccer without bringing up my wife. My wife is, I feel like her name stands alone in this desert. Growing up, playing soccer all her life, she played Division I soccer. When we came back to the desert, she had that same idea of like maybe coaching girls.
Yeah.
Is that something that is in the near future for you, or maybe having a coach? Like, for instance, my wife, she'd love to get out there and coach and bring that same tenacity to the females that you bring, and she doesn't need anybody to mention her accolades. I feel like, I mean, you've seen her play.
Yeah.
Baller in her own regards.
Yeah. Of course.
What would you say about that? Like, is there a female presence out right now in the desert trying to make that difference like you're doing with these kids?
There's several coaches out there, trying to help
Okay.
out, that have good teams and stuff.
Sweet.
And it's still like a work in progress still.
I just see that the fact that you don't have the same the same weight behind the female games, whether it's soccer, basketball, whatever they play. There's not a lot of respect towards, and females, you would say, if you look at a soccer team that's coached correctly, they have a lot more discipline. They have a lot of more structure.
Yeah.
They're a lot more professional than the guys.
Yeah, definitely.
The one thing that lacks is the support,
Yeah.
that the males have.
Yeah. No, it's something we've talked about already with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something we're going to be working on later on
Sweet,
in the
man.
future.
I'm looking forward to that.
I have coached a few girls private lessons and stuff, and they've enjoyed it as well. And I don't care who I'm coaching. I just whoever, anyone wants to show up, be there boy or girl, to my training sessions.
Right.
It doesn't matter, because they're all gonna get the same thing from it.
Sweet, man. Yeah, no, my soccer's still in my life because of you, because of my wife. I think those are the last two people that I'm like really tethered. That tethers
Yeah.
me to soccer, because if it was up to me, it wouldn't be a conversation. And Renee's been coaching. I think he's been coaching there's a soccer club in Palm Desert, and he's been coaching their goalies and stuff. So I feel like that, yeah, bro. Like if I were to look, I'll find.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice and neat that culture's still among us and our generation. Let's see. Do you have anything else to say, or so we can? I feel like we talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Unless you wanna rekindle some childhood memories.
No, I mean just I think that to me is important. My childhood, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just
The stinky van rides.
I've been playing since I was 3.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, bro.
my parents, you know, they did something where I was able to play 3 at 3 years old, AYSO, and I remember scoring my first goal, and all my friends, everyone in my community has been because of soccer, and you know, I enjoyed that a lot, and now coaching and seeing new opportunities, I no matter how old you are, like, you can't give up, man. You can't give up, and you shouldn't give up, because soccer is not just about playing professional. It's about keeping yourself in shape, keeping yourself, you know, mentally healthy, physically,
man. And,
you know, and if you see it like that, and you see it to where you just want to continue pushing yourself, you're gonna get as much out of yourself as you can.
Oh man, that's gems, bro. Because you also touched on that. That's very good that you brought it up. It's discipline, responsibility, self growth.
Yeah.
All these things. It's not just kicking a ball, you know. Dude, that is powerful. I'm glad that you brought that up, because a lot of people just see it as kicking a ball. They're just kicking a ball.
Yeah.
But no, it takes dedication to go out there every day.
Yeah.
Show up every time, you know. Sometimes you might not be 100% mentally or physically.
Yeah, man, it's tough, because when I was playing in San Diego, I'm telling you, my coach was, you know, he played for the English Premier League, and he's a Fox soccer commentator, so he would host all the Champions League games. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, so when you would see these big games, he's the one commentating at halftime or post game, and then I would see him during the week, you know. So I'm like, well, how do I not know he's talking good or bad about me?
Right.
You know, and I sat 2 seasons on the bench. 2 seasons. I didn't play I played maybe 2 or 3 minutes in a few matches, you know, but I was okay with it because I felt like I was learning a lot. I had someone that
you were in the practice field.
Yeah, man. And I wanted the coach to know that he can trust me, that I'm the type of person to be there every single time, no matter what.
And your ego wasn't involved, where it's like, hey, how come I'm not getting games?
Exactly. And I think that was that.
Hey, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that you rode the bench.
And my second season, I was living in here in the desert, and I'd have to travel 2-3 times a week to go there. Whether there was a few times that my brother would take me to. There's sometimes I couldn't even drive. And my brother would take me, and I would only show up for practice for 30 minutes. A 2-hour drive just to practice 30 minutes. And they knew where I was coming from, you know, but...
and you weren't getting any time.
Yeah, and it's okay, you know?
Right.
But because it's not necessarily about that to me sometimes, you know? Like, I want people to trust me in that, you know, like a coach that's like, hey, this dude is really, you know, putting in time. And the best part was... the end of the season, we got to playoffs, and we had to drive to like Fresno area up there, up north, and in Washington. Those 2 matches, we ended up, I can't remember if we won or tied, but there was no one. We only had 11 players to go, and I got my first full 90 minutes. They had never seen me play. They'd seen me train. They're like, I had almost scored. I had a really good game, but they were like shocked, you know. And to me, it was like, you know, I had so much fun, you know. But it was a good experience, you know. And
dang, man. So you shined when you needed to shine.
Yeah.
Like that. That is crucial. Some people don't understand that. Like when your time is coming up, like that's what the same thing about the metaphor where it's like I've been training this whole time. So when the time comes for me to take that shot, you showed up.
And so, you know, I appreciate any time when I play on any team when they give me playing time, because I know what it's like to sit on the bench, and I had never sat on the bench in my life. Like that was not a thing. So I took it as a challenge. You know, where I'm like, oh, I need to learn from this, you know, and so I did. Now that I play anywhere I play now, it's like, hey, play me or not, it's okay. Like, you know, I get it.
Dang, man, I didn't know that. I didn't. That's really good that you shared that, because when I was growing up, even just in high school, when I get benched, I'd have a hissy fit, you know. I'd be like, why the hell am I spending all this time? Why am I doing all this and not get to play? I know I was never like the best player. I played because of your brother, because of Arturo, I played because I had commonality with them, and these were my friends. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna get to hang out with my friends.
Renee,
Yeah,
everyone,
Renee. Yeah,
everyone.
exactly. Uh, yeah. I was I was a different person back then, and I feel like I used to do certain things to fit,
Yeah.
and now I feel even this like
Yeah.
I do things even when no one is watching. I
Yeah.
do things, and that's how it should be, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And so, that's very important now, like for my team and a lot of players, that's like, hey, you're gonna have to learn how to play on the bench. You might grow as a player and as a person, and but again, there's times I see frustration from players and stuff, and it's like, hey, like I've been there, you know what I mean?
Okay, so you can relate now. Now because you're coaching
Yeah.
and you're not on the field, like that situation is relatable to you now.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Damn, you've grown a lot. You've experienced a lot. I didn't know that you had to travel that much. I didn't know that you had to. And see, that's why I have you here, because it's easier to hate than congratulate.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've always seen that, whether you see, even without me knowing that you had those experiences, I'm still rooting for you.
Yeah, man.
Because of that.
Thank you. And it's uh, I'm someone, I don't have a degree. I didn't go to school. I didn't finish school, and
Do you have a degree in soccer?
but that's another thing that never stopped me. I never thought that was to hold me back.
Right.
I always felt there was an avenue for me, and whatever it be,
Mhm.
And there's a lot of players, I'm not saying don't go to school or anything. I really encourage you to go to school, but if you don't have that opportunity, if you're not able to be in that position, push yourself to do something, not don't take it like, oh, I can't go to school anymore,
Right.
or something like that. And I always took even that as a challenge,
Mhm.
where it's like my family would be like, you need to go to school, my parents, you need to go to school, like give up on soccer, why are you doing all of this, like what's it for? And I'm like, it's for me. Like I know what I want, I have a vision, like I'm gonna be happy doing something like this.
Think about all the time. I don't think I've ever met somebody as passionate about anything else, even if it's. I mean, I've met cooks or chefs, but look at all the time you've invested in this. That says something.
Yeah.
Some people might say like, "Oh, you're wasting your time," but it's like, okay, then you show me what show me a dedication that you've put this much time, and a lot of people won't be able to.
Yeah.
They haven't mastered anything. They go through life just like.
It was, and about this. When I was playing in San Diego, I had to find time to play,
Mhm.
and if I got a job, it wasn't going to work out,
Because your soccer came first.
To me, soccer was like important to me.
Mhm.
I had put myself on a really good team with a really good coach, with a really good staff, that I can use that if I wanted to continue playing.
Right.
I would wanted the coach to be like, hey, Manchester United, here's Pollo Loco, like, and I felt like that could happen, like I don't know if you ever seen the movie Goal, but no, you haven't seen it.
What is
The
this?
movie Goal?
I don't know.
Oh my God, you need to watch that movie. And I kid you not, I was watching that movie, and the movie was about a player from the streets
Mhm.
that got picked up by some scout and played at Newcastle, and I was like, well, why is my coach from Newcastle? Like, why am I from?
Oh.
And I took it, but it was fun. I had never seen the movie, and I saw it, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I really felt like I was in that position, and
Man, life throws you little clues, little hints.
and I had a pedicab. I had to find a solution where
Oh, that's right.
I had a pedicab, and
That kept you in shape.
it kept me in shape. I was doing like 40, 50 miles a weekend.
Yeah, you were busting your butt.
I'd go to my match in San Diego, come back. It's like almost 10:30, and I'd still go in pedicab, and then I would still go and play on Sunday leagues. I'd get more playing time over here on the Sunday league team, but it's okay. Like I was having fun, and
Dang, man. And still didn't give up.
and didn't give up, man. And
resilience, bro.
A few times that I've tried out at certain places, like the coach has been like, "Hey, you can come back if you want to come play." Just that it's been far for me, and that's something that I'm working on. It's like, all right, like, do I want to go play out in Los Angeles? Is it worth my time? Or do I want to play in San Diego or something? I have my team right now, and I'm okay with my team. I want to continue with this, and make it reasonable for me, or make it good for me to really want to go and play and stuff, and I think even doing that would motivate my players to be like, yo, my coach made it.
That's so cool, bro.
Yeah.
Dang. I didn't know that you were doing that while you were pedicabbing. What happened to that? Do you still gonna take over the desert with the soccer and the
I still got my bikes. Yeah, I still got my bikes. They're not out yet, but
That's so cool.
I haven't given up on that either.
Hey man, whatever it takes, keep going. I salute you for all the hard work, the inspiration you're putting out there. Anybody wants to reach out to you, how do they go about that?
You can follow me on Instagram, Pollo Be Fit, or Ballers Football Club.
Okay. So you run that page as well?
Yeah, I run those pages.
Man, thank you. Anything last thing?
Yeah, man. Just I remember when we last spoke, years ago, you were like, "Hey, man, you gotta plant that seed."
Yeah, for sure.
And just keep planting. And when you started your seed planting podcast, I'm like, oh,
perfect, bro. Yeah.
I'm like, congrats, bro. So I just want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Providing a stage for people that want that opportunity as well. That
Most definitely. I appreciate that. I think last conversation I had with Pete and Daniel, I think we were sitting in this studio. We were doing a video conference call. They mentioned that, and it resonates with me a lot. And a lot of the times it takes a little bit of processing and listening. I've been watching even my old interviews and stuff. The stuff that we speak about comes into fruition. The seed gets planted, and like you've been planting your own seeds, and now you have soccer players that are out doing their thing. What I'm trying to say is, it just takes that. When you have the ability to put somebody on, and you don't, like why aren't you putting them on? Like, so my objective is reaching out to people that have that substance, that have that the ability to help others, because now you're gonna be able to put. I mean, you're doing it, but you're putting other people on, and I'm putting people on so that they inspire others. Yeah. And so thank you for coming on the podcast and planting your seed, and hopefully the people that do listen, even if their field of expertise is somewhere else, they can get inspired and continue to do it.
Anybody that wants to get involved, feel free to contact me. I'm always open to ideas and conversation. And regardless if you're new to the game or not, like we train and everyone's invited. And
sweet, man. I appreciate it, because I also spoke with Gavi. I don't know if you listened to that podcast.
Vasquez?
Yeah. And her dad started Magic Sports.
What do you mean?
Her dad was the founder of Magic, the team. Do you ever hear about the soccer team out here?
Magic.
Yeah. So her dad was a founder of that, and I was like, whoa. So now I'm sitting with the founder of Ballers FC. It's just fucking awesome, bro. Thank you. Thank you for giving me that opportunity. I know that people say, "Oh, thank you for putting me on," but the thing that helps me grow, and I hope it doesn't come off as selfish, but I get a lot more from just having this conversation with a friend of mine that I haven't spoke to in a while. This is nourishment to my life. Yeah. This is fulfilling my life's goal. Like, this makes me happy. Just like soccer makes you happy. Sharing that knowledge with people like this really does fill my curiosity. I'm always learning. I'm always if somebody could pay me to go to school, I'd take that up. You know what I mean? Well,
Thank you, bro. Appreciate all your time and everything.
With that, we're out, guys. Thanks, Pollo.
Thank you, bro.